So look, we've all been a failure at some point of our life, right? You're not gonna tell me that you've passed every single assignment or test in school that you've gotten. You also not gonna tell me that you've gotten done every single task that you've been tasked with at work. I know that's a lot of stuff in there, right? Guys, basically this is all just to say that, well, I failed. You can go ahead and cue the sad music right now if you want. Why are you guys laughing at me? What's up, you guys? Chase the Dark Sage here, and today we're back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how I basically failed my goal of 2022 as a manga collector. Now, I know there's still a few weeks in the year left, and I could kind of redeem myself, and I'll probably make a shorts on that later on next year to tell you guys how I did. But essentially, I failed my goal, and my goal this year was to at least have read about 50%, that's right, 50% of all the manga that's in my collection. Now, there's been this huge debate and discussion online, whether it be on Twitter or on YouTube, about manga tubers essentially buying into consumerism or diving a little bit too much into consumerism with the manga hauls, buying too much manga, or simply just basically bragging about how much money you could spend on buying manga. So this year I kind of made it a goal to myself to actually read a lot more of my manga than I am buying it, and well, you could definitely buy way more than you could read, trust me. It's very easy. If you have not been noticing the shift on my channel, I've actually been reviewing a lot of the series that's in my collection. If you guys don't know, I only read manga that has a physical and that I can actually collect or that I already have. Because let's be real, if I start reading some series online, I'm basically neglecting my big old TBR that's just right behind me while I'm reading that series online. So in today's video, we're actually gonna go over some of the series I actually talked about this year, some of the series that I've read overall in my collection, and we're gonna look at the percentage at the end of the video and see how off was I in my manga reading journey this year. So before we get into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, like the video, and follow me on all my other social media platforms, and comment down below what's the percentage of how much manga you've read in your collection, or how many volumes have you read out of the total amount of volumes in your collection? We'll do the math later on in the video, but I think this number that I'm going to show you guys later on is very astonishing. But like I said, all links will be in the description down below. Get active in the comment section. All the links and everything will be down below. So, let's go ahead and talk about some of the manga that I've read, and basically some of the series I've actually talked about on this channel and reviewed this year. So let's go ahead and get started with the main series that basically kind of started this channel and inspired this channel, and well, that I talk about too much as it is already. And that has to be the Dragon Ball franchise, or Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super. Now, I've read all the contents that has come out physically for all these series, and honestly, I love Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball Super. While Dragon Ball Super isn't as good as Dragon Ball Z, I can still find a special place in my heart for these series. Now, I already reviewed these series on the channel, so if you want to check those videos out, I'll leave a playlist in the description down below where you can check out all the manga reviews that I've done in this year. But essentially, I started this whole read-through off with Dragon Ball Super while my channel was terminated this year, and that was a very rough time, those few days that my channel was gone. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave a link to that video in the description down below as well. I started off with Dragon Ball Super, and that made me think, like, maybe I should read Dragon Ball Z, since I've only watched the animes for those series, and I've never actually read the manga. And like I said, my goal was to read all the manga in my collection. Now, that even includes series that I've watched the anime for, but I want to get the manga experience for as well. So Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super were definitely among those first ones, and they were the first ones on my shelf, so I had to start off with those series. And as you guys know, I love them. Next series we gotta talk about is Bleach. Now, Bleach is a series that I love and I also hate. Now, I started reading Bleach about a year or two ago at the time of recording this video, but I actually finished it this year because, well, their Rancor arc was pretty boring to me. But after reading the 1,000-Year Blower arc, which is obviously getting animated at the time of recording this video, that arc to me was pretty fire. I love the 1,000-Year Blower arc. While it wasn't better written as the Rancor arc, I will say that the actual pacing and the fights were more enticing, and I just overall enjoyed it, or had a better experience with the 1,000-Year Blower arc. But I still think the Soul Society arc is probably the best arc in Bleach overall. Either way, I like Bleach. I did give it a lot of flack in my review videos, and people seem to think that I hate Bleach. I don't hate Bleach. I enjoy Bleach. I just think it's very mid, but I think it's enjoyable mid. It's all right to have some enjoyable mid within the collection. So yeah, either way, Bleach, it's cool, it's fine. I heard that the 1,000-Year Blower arc is actually going to fix and patch some stuff up that was kind of missing within the manga, so I'm happy for the manga fans that are actually getting that experience now, but Woo! That Reiko arc was pretty rough for me, I'm not gonna lie. It literally made me stop reading the series for a whole year. And there's a lot of things I like about their Reiko arc, but there's way more things I do not like about their Reiko arc. So that was the one arc that really made me stop reading Bleach right there. So yeah, Bleach. I guess you could say that you alright in my book. No? 2 on the nose? Okay, let's move on with the next series. Next series we gotta talk about is Demon Slayer, and this is a series, alright, and I will say that this is definitely one of those series that you better go for the anime adaptation over the manga, because the anime adaptation is far superior compared to the manga itself. And I can say that the comment section on that video was pretty divisive, to say the least. I know some people that love Demon Slayer, but I also know some people that really think Demon Slayer isn't that great of a series overall, and I'm probably of that camp of those people right there. I think Demon Slayer is fine for a beginner, but if you've been in the shonen anime slash manga, this really isn't gonna leave you wanting more or craving, you know, the shonen goodness that should be oozing from it. But it's pretty bland, it's pretty boring, the art really isn't there for me. I will say that Demon Slayer, like I said before, is great for beginners, but for someone who's been into this genre slash demographic for a very long time, it's not really it. But yeah, let's actually move on to the next series, and a series that is far superior to this, which is Naruto. Naruto is one of those series that we all have some type of, you know, sentimental value with this series. I remember watching this series when it first came out in America. I bought most of the Naruto games that are on console. Naruto is just one of those series that, it's just so endearing, it's so charming, it's so fun, it's lovable. What can you hate about Naruto? Besides some of the plot elements that kind of, you know, don't really hold up well later on in the arcs. But we're not going to talk about that in this video, because I am currently reading Naruto, and I'm like 48 volumes in out of the 72 volumes. So yeah, I'm past halfway, but right now I'm kind of taking a break because I want to catch up on other series in my collection as well. But yeah, Naruto, there's not really much for me to say about this. I do have videos coming out for Naruto, and trust me, I think those videos are pretty good. I already have a video of my first impressions on getting into the manga, so if you want to go ahead and check that out, link will be in the description down below. But yeah, Naruto, pre-time skip, still goated, and Shippuden, as far as where I'm at right now, pretty goated as well. It's when you get to that last arc that I'm scared of. I'll just say that right now, but Naruto is definitely great in my book. Now, on a serious note, let's go ahead and talk about some more mature series that I've actually been reading this year, and I will say that my taste in mature content when it comes to manga, not the adult content, not that type of content, but in the mature content, is pretty peak. First series we got up is Parasite, one of my favorite series of all time, especially after watching the anime. And this is only about 8 volumes long. There is a full color edition coming out. At the time of recording this video, it's not out yet, but trust me, your boy is gonna get that bad boy right there. But either way, Parasite is a very short read, very quick read with 64 chapters, 8 volumes in the physical, and honestly, it's a great read. Trust me, you guys are gonna love it once you get into it. I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about Parasite. I think it's pretty goated among manga collectors. Another mature action series that has an anime actually coming out soon has to be Hell's Paradise, and honestly, this was the most fun read that I've never watched the anime for that I've had this year. And honestly, like I said, Hell's Paradise is a great time. It did drag in a few parts, it does get wordy at times, but either way, I enjoyed Hell's Paradise. I can't wait for the anime to come out for me to just skip it and not watch it at all, because I'm just a bad person. I just don't watch anime anymore. So me reading Hell's Paradise with the artwork being great, the action scenes being phenomenal, and some of the characters being so good and so enjoyable, I gotta say that Hell's Paradise is definitely a must read if you haven't read it yet. We also have here Fire Punch, which only has 8 volumes, and honestly, this was a phenomenal read too. This is from the same creator as Chainsaw Man. Fire Punch right here by Tatsuki Fujimoto, I gotta say, is very enjoyable. You can see where some of the inspiration from Chainsaw Man comes from. Overall, I like some of the themes, I like some of the messaging, and I liked a lot of the characters and the actual setting of this series right here. Fire Punch, I know, has been a little bit harder to get in the past year, but I will say that it's definitely worth the read if you do like dark, apocalyptic, wasteland-like stories right here. Especially where one that kind of incorporates superpowers, but it kind of has that weirdness aspect to it, where it's like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I'm getting down with this. So Fire Punch is definitely that series that you got to check out. And last mature series that we got to talk about is Goodnight Pun Pun. And I enjoyed Goodnight Pun Pun. I will definitely reread this one day later on in the next few years, but this is definitely one of those things where it's pretty heavy in it, and it wears down on your soul after you get done reading it, because it's so realistic. The take on depression and mental illness that actually happens within this story is sad to say the least. I enjoy Goodnight Pun Pun, but woo, this series is dark. I will say that the later half is definitely better than the first half. Not saying that the first half is bad or anything like that, but it definitely ramps up, and I have a very sick, twisted humor, and I was laughing at a lot of the parts that happen in the later half when he's an adult. So yeah, Goodnight Pun Pun. It's Goodnight Pun Pun. Now with Goodnight Pun Pun out of the way with 7 volumes, let's go ahead and talk about some of the Nasty Man series. And I'm not going to bore you guys with those series because I know a lot of you guys on the channel don't really get into that type of stuff, but I want to talk about those things real quick since that was stuff that I read and reviewed on the channel. So let's start off with Gal Gohan, one of my favorite series and one of my first Nasty Man series in my collection. Now this comes out to about 10 volumes, and honestly I enjoy Gal Gohan. It can be wholesome at times and it can be kind of etchy at times. Now it is weird that they kind of draw a high schooler with such a developed body, but you get over that quickly, especially when she tries to hit on her teacher because, well, she falls in love with her teacher, but her teacher's like, yo, back away, that's weird, and you're a minor. I'm an adult. So I do like that aspect of Gal Gohan, and it knows that it's a comedy. It doesn't have anything too drastic in it, and it's one of those comedy romances that doesn't overstay its welcome, which I love, because I feel like a lot of comedy romance slice of life series, they kind of overstay their welcome with being over 20 volumes. Gal Gohan, it was in here, it was out of here, it's not wordy, it has some endearing characters, very charming, and I gotta say that it might be my first actual cooking manga itself. Quotes on the cooking though. Gal Gohan, it made me realize that I have an infatuation with gals or gyarus. Oh, they're so big. Next series we got up is Shiori's Diary. Now, I'm very conflicted on this series because this is definitely a Nasty Man series in everything that it encompasses. It has the artwork, you know, you know what I'm saying? But it also has this theme of whether or not this woman is cheating on her husband, but she doesn't know whether he's cheating on her or not. So that kind of doesn't make you sympathetic for her character, especially with not knowing. And then with the whole ending, I feel like the ending was say the least. And the 2 main characters in the series just aren't likable at that. Now, when you get to this series, you're going to the series for, you know, the artwork. And I talked about this more in the review itself, but the artwork is definitely there. The story is not. It tries to juggle some mature themes, but it really doesn't land well to me. So yeah, Shiori's Diary only coming at 3 volumes. It's definitely in and out. Only get this for the nasty aspect. Do not get this for the story because the story will fail you. It is not good. It doesn't even hold up well as a Nasty Man series. And you guys know that I don't really hold Nasty Man series stories up there like that. As long as you do the nasty right and the series knows what it is, I'm cool with it. But once you start putting mature themes in here and you don't land well, then I'm not gonna like it like that. It's not too bad, but it's definitely not memorable, trust me. And the last series we have on the Nasty Man reading, and I'm not going to talk about Metamorphosis because that was something I read this year and it was traumatizing to say the least. But I'm not going to talk about that on this video because I already have a review for it, and it was definitely a Valentine's Day special. The last series I want to talk about that's going to have 10 volumes, but the 10th volume is not out yet, has to be Gigant. And I do want to make a review on this, but you guys let me know down in the comment section down below. But yeah, Gigant, made by the same person that made Inuyashiki and Gantz. I will say that this does not make me want to actually read Inuyashiki or Gantz. This series is definitely different compared to what I've seen about Inuyashiki and Gantz. And this is basically about a hub star. You know what I'm saying? A hub star. It's about a hub star that could grow big and fight kaijus. It also has some time traveling aspect, some sci-fi elements I don't care about. I really only care about the actual relationship, slice of life aspect of this hub star going out with this high schooler. Now wait. I'm not into that type of stuff. The only reason that I like that aspect of the actual series itself is because it's a train wreck overall, and it's just funny that it somehow gets swept under the rug later on in volumes, but I just wanted them to get caught and I wanted them to get in trouble for it, and I feel like that weight of that situation really wasn't there for me like I really wanted it to be. I gotta take a Gigant for nasty reasons, and honestly, I will say that it is a train wreck. It's not horrible like I thought it was in the first 3 volumes. It's definitely not good, but you know, I'm invested so far, so I gotta read it until the last volume comes out, which actually comes out in December. So yeah, Gigant, your series that I've had my up and downs with. You definitely got the artwork, which kind of looks a bit CGI-ish. Some of the panels are actually pretty fire in this bad boy. The artwork right here, not the artwork, but the actual artwork itself is pretty good. But overall, I think that the character expressions look very CGI. They look very fake, look very plastic. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's not really for me, but I enjoy it nonetheless for what this series is trying to go for. So with all those series right there, that's easily over 100 to maybe 200 volumes of manga right there. But let's actually go see some of the other series I've read in my collection, and let's tally the number up, and I'll come back with you with the score and the percentage, and we'll see how I did. I've at least read one volume of Yu Yu Hakusho. I've read all 90 volumes of One Piece, and trust me, I'm far past that in the actual manga itself. I'm dang near caught up. I've read these first 7 volumes of Yu-Gi-Oh! I've done 2 read-throughs of Chainsaw Man. I've sadly read this atrocity, which I'm actually thinking about buying some further volumes because I just want some more Naruto content after I actually get done reading Naruto. I already know I am. I've read Black Torch, and I've read all these Black Clover volumes. In fact, I just haven't read the current arc that we're in right now. I've read about 4 to 5 volumes of Mashle, and I've read all 8 volumes of Spy Family, and all these volumes of Kaiju number 8 as well. I've read all of Blue Flag. I enjoyed this series, but you know, it was kind of disappointing towards the end. I've only read about 3 volumes of Zom. I've read this 1 volume of Die, which is pretty dope. One Punch Man is definitely a series that I don't get to talk about on the channel enough. I really enjoyed this. I've read all 23 chapters, even the content after season 2, and trust me, the manga is pretty fire. I've been read these chapters of Sakamoto Days while they were coming out weekly, so obviously I've read all 3 contents within these volumes. I read these 10 volumes of Nagatoro. I've read 9 volumes of Blood on the Tracks. I've read all 4 volumes of Please Put the on Takamine-san, and I'm the Hero but the Demon Lord's Also Me, and this 1 volume of To Save the World, Can You Wake Up with a Demi-Human, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. I've read this 1 volume right here. I haven't read the other 2. I've read all of World's End Harem, and Saki the Succubus, and 1 volume of Destiny Lovers, which I need to binge the rest of the series. I've read 2 volumes of Do You Like Big Girls, and the 2 volumes of Booty Royale. I've read 2 volumes of Superheroes, and 1 volume of Witches of Adamas, and 1 volume of Peter Grill. I've read these 3 volumes of Hitomi-chan and Shy with Strangers. I read these 4 volumes of My Dress Up Darling, and I've read all 4 volumes of The Flowers of Evil. And I've read up to 6 or 7 volumes of Berserk. I forget which one, but I only count these omnibuses as 1 volume themselves. All right, guys, so after tallying everything up, I have 1,151 volumes of manga in my collection. And that's not counting the packages that I have off screen currently. So out of 1,151 manga volumes, I have read 572 volumes. And I honestly didn't expect me to have read that much, but I also didn't expect me to have that much either. And there's some volumes of manga that I don't have in my collection that I actually have in my selling piles. So yeah, once you do 572 divided by 1,151, that total comes out to 49.69%.